It was May 1964 that Imperial Wizard of the KKK Sam Bowers consulted with Neshoba County Sheriff Lawrence Rainey and his deputy Cecil Price. They decided it was time to execute Plan 4. Plan 4 was a plan to eliminate civil rights activist Michael Schwerner, also referred to as Jew Boy by the Klan. He was the first white civil rights activist outside the capital of Jackson. He was targeted and hated by the Klan for organizing a black boycott of a white-owned business and for thoroughly trying to register blacks to be able to vote. The Klan's first attempt to murder Schwerner failed on June 1964, when the Klan was expecting Schwerner to return to the Mount Sion church that he had asked permission to use as a site of a freedom school earlier that day. The Klan expected him to return later that night for a business meeting. After the meeting ended, 7 blacks were confronted by an army of men in white sheets armed with rifles. Many of the blacks were beaten and the Klan burned the church down, but they still had not gotten their hands on Schwerner. Schwerner and his 2 colleagues, James Chaney and Andrew Goodman, began their midsummer visit to Neshoba County, known as a high-risk area for civil rights workers. The trio asked some witnesses of the beatings and fire what had happened, and were warned that the men in white were after them. At 3 p.m., the trio headed back to their office, taking Highway 16. Deputy Sheriff Price spotted the well-known Corps wagon as he headed down the highway, did a U-turn, and made the wagon pull over. He then proceeded to arrest the 3. They were held in jail for 7 hours. They were refused their phone call, and when colleagues called the station looking for them, the officer denied knowing anything. At 10 p.m. they were released, only to be followed by several KKK members. The pursuit ended in a high-speed chase until finally Chaney pulled over and the 3 surrendered. They were taken to an unmarked dirt turnoff called Rock Cut Road. They were brutally beaten and shot, then transported to a dam site at the 253-acre Old Jolly Farm. After the disappearances, the FBI conducted a tricky investigation. Up until December of 1964, when the Justice Department had enough evidence to conduct an arrest. They initially arrested 19 men, only to have all the charges dropped 6 days later for the evidence being based on hearsay. But on February of 1965, Judge William Cox threw out accusations that Rainey, Price, and 17 Hours were not acting under color of state law, and were given a trial. On the morning of October 20th, 1967, 7 men were convicted for the murder of 3 civil rights workers, including Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price, Sam Bowers, Wayne Robbers, Jimmy Snowden, Billy Posse, and Horace Bennett. The rest were acquitted, including Sheriff Rainey, burial site owner Olin Burge, and Frank Herden.